In almost 2 weeks, we will get to see Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi. I'm super excited about it and I believe everybody is. And for the first time, we get to see Marvel making a brand new poster design for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness instead of using the same concept that has been used for previous Marvel movies. And I was very happy. And with that happiness, I wanted to make a poster of my own. And with that, I wanted to go straight into Photoshop. But before we go into started making all this stuff, I needed some ideas. So I went into Google and typed in the official poster and looked around what the official poster was and how it looked. I also take a look at some of the fan-made posters that people have made over the weeks, and I got some very interesting ideas. I decided that I'll make something similar to that of the original poster, but adding some of my own touches. Now once I had the idea, I wanted to make sure that I get all the characters that I want to add in the poster. Obviously we need Doctor Strange, we have Wanda, we have Wong, and now we have the new character, America Chavez. These are all the characters we saw mostly. Obviously there's more characters, but I don't want to involve them, so I'll keep them apart, and I thought that these 4 characters would be best representing the movie. With that, I jumped right into Photoshop. I used this image of Sanctum Sanctorum, which isn't exactly the right way that it looks, but it looked pretty good. I started making holes because I wanted to make it look as simple or as similar to that of the original. I edited it a little bit so that it looks as if there is a blue light and stuff like that. Then I added this particular floor texture, again looking similar to that of the original poster. Strange is standing on that floor. Now I jumped right into the background because it looked kind of empty. I used a mixture of multiple skies and made it look like there's a red spot in the middle so that like the multiverse is breaking from there. After that, I used Strange and added some highlights on it. It was very important for me to add those highlights and to make sure that the light is coming from behind so that there should be some kind of shine in it. I also added some adjustments to make his skin look right, it wasn't the best, and also his hair to be completely black. Obviously highlights played a large part. I took some time in this, but well, in the end it came out pretty good. I started doing the same thing for all the other 3 characters, adding highlights, shadows, and if needed some adjustments to their faces. Maybe their face color was or skin color was not the right way, so I changed those as well. America Chavez was a little bit hard to add highlights to because somehow her image was a little bit off and it was just not working quite well, but I made it work in the end. I started adding some things into the floor. I added a shadow of Doctor Strange because, well, light is coming through. I made the floor red because obviously red light is shining through it. And I wanted to make the floor look more metallic, so I tried my best to make it look metallic as possible. Then I added an overall glow to everything, to the characters as well as to the broken glass, because obviously since light is coming through, there should be some kind of a red glow on it. Then I started working on these glass pieces, which is again similar to that of the original poster. To do that, I just used some glass pieces and took screenshots from the trailer and put them inside it. Now I tried my best to make it look as good as possible. Some blue lights, some red highlights, but it was not looking the very best. I tried a lot. This is the most time I took to work on it, and none of it was working. At some point in time, I kind of gave up, but I still tried my very best. At one point I completely gave up on that idea and I used very small glass pieces to give an idea that an explosion kind of just happened, so the glass pieces are flying away. I also used some glass pieces on the floor to give the impression that, well, the glass broke on the floor. There's some glass on the floor. I also tried to replace the Sanctum Sanctorum image with the original textured one, but it just wasn't looking the best. Now to add something more different, I added this octopus tentacles because, well, there is a monster which has the octopus tentacles. I unfortunately don't know the name, but I used them to, well, make something different, to make it look like these tentacles are coming behind the screen. I added the highlights and shadows to make it look as realistic as possible. Once that was over, I again looked into the small glass pieces to add on the background. Then I went back into the idea that I had to use those glass pieces, the big chunks of glass pieces, but instead I used a different glass piece so to make it look a little bit different. This time I tried my best again to make sure that it looks good enough. I didn't try too hard because I don't want to, make myself go crazy. In the end, I was kind of satisfied with it, so I moved on to add some smoke on the floor to make it look more atmospheric. Since the red light is coming from the background, I added that red light on the top of the smoke, and the bottom one was, well, kind of white. Then I also added this light shaft, making it look like, well, there's too bright of a light coming from this small opening to just give an impression that a major light is coming through. And it also looked cool. All of this was kind of subtle, so it didn't look too much, and I wanted to keep it subtle. I also added Doctor Strange magic on his hands to make it look very good with a orange and a green, so that it looks pretty nice. And then it was all about putting in the Doctor Strange logo and the release date and the Marvel Studios logo, and then in the end, it was all done. And in the end, this is how it looked. After that, I also did some more adjustment. I added a blur in the background to make it have more depth. I added more black at the bottom so that it looks more atmospheric, and some overall changes here and there to just make it look a little bit bright. From an amateur standpoint, I think it came out pretty good and I'm very much happy with it. Obviously, there's a lot of people who have done much better posters than this, but I am pretty much happy with how it looks. So what do you guys think about the poster overall? Let me know in the comments below, because I'll be posting out more of these in the future. So make sure to subscribe to watch similar videos just like this of movie poster, game posters and whatnot.